Hello, how you doing? We finally reached it. We finally reached to the final Star Wars movie, and of course, here is CinemaWins' video on it as well. The final Star Wars movie, Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker, which, man, it's been a long journey over this past year. I thought it would be fun to do all the Star Wars movies in one year, and yep, here we are. It feels kind of sad that we're actually done, or I'm sure The Mandalorian and Grogu, we'll get to that eventually, but for the mainline saga, yeah, we're done, which is insane. So, and it just sucks that it's on a bad movie too, because in my opinion, Rise of Skywalker is the worst Star Wars movie by a mile. Because yeah, it's not even that like frustrating. It's more so just so nothing. It's just when I was watching it again for these videos, I was just thinking, man, I just don't feel anything for most of it. It's just so yeah, nothing because it really does because it's just ridiculous how much story was not set up in the previous two movies that this one just comes in and is like, oh, let's just throw all of this stuff here. Like, oh, Palpatine's back. Oh, there's this whole thing with these wayfinders. There's like Lando and Luke were apparently searching for it at some point. There's this whole thing with like Ray and Ben were at like a diet or something. It introduces so many stories and ideas, and it's like I feel like we should have heard about those before now. Like, why are we introducing so many of this in the final movie as well? Like, it's so out of nowhere and stupid. But that's what you get when you don't plan these movies out. Because yeah, we know that now, and yeah, it's just I just don't like how this movie also undoes so much. Like it undoes Anakin's sacrifice by bringing Palpatine back, and then it also undoes his sacrifice again by having Rey just kind of do it again. Like, oh, Anakin brought balance to the Force. No, I guess Rey did. Oh, Luke was gonna restart the Jedi Order. No, I guess Rey's gonna do that too. Like, it's just weird how they undid a bunch of things, and then we're like, oh, we're gonna do that again. But like, you guys like they thought they were doing something new, but they really weren't. I don't know. It's just weird how it all turned out, and yeah. So, and Lee made a two-part video out of this as well, two 30-minute long videos. So this is gonna be a long one, and I can already imagine myself disagreeing with him in a bunch of places. Even though I will admit there are some good things here and there, but it's just a bad movie in my opinion. So yeah, without further ado, let's wrap this story up.
This video feels like a good time to briefly remind you, my dear viewers, what this channel is about. While it started out a
Sure.
lot more tongue-in-cheek, it quickly became obvious to me that bad movies had fans who enjoyed them unironically. So
Sure.
slowly, the bad thing, but I'm pretending it's good shtick disappeared, and I went looking for more sincere points. Although you guys don't
Oh,
have to be.
Last Airbender, man. I'd like to do that honestly.
A few here and there. I do argue against and defend perceived problems, but unless I come right out and say it, the wins aren't about judging whether a movie is good or bad. That's just not what I'm interested in doing with this channel.
I mean, I appreciate that's what Lee does. Yeah, he doesn't really do that, like saying the movie is good or bad at that much. So I like that about him, but we'll see.
My mission statement has become every movie is at least one person's favorite, and I want to try to figure out the reasons why.
Sure.
Then we come to the rise of Skywalker, and I'm that person. Okay, favorite is a big word.
I see.
But my point is that I'm making this video for me. I enjoyed this movie.
Okay.
And if one more person feels like they can be honest about enjoying it after this as well, that's it. That's what I'm here for.
Okay. Sure. I'm glad he liked it, Lee. Just I wish I liked it, but I just don't. Here we go. Been a long time coming.
Well, they're just coming right out with it. He's back.
Yep.
It seems like your enjoyment of this movie could very easily boil down to that one plot point because so much hinges on it.
That's a good point because yeah, I'm not down with that idea. I just don't like the idea of bringing Palpatine back, or even if you are going to do it, at least have him like make him like the first Sith Force ghost, not bring him back like physically with his body intact and everything. It's just like I'm sorry, cloning, but whatever. I just it just feels so forced the way it was handled.
I guess I'd say pretend for a watch through that it's what you wanted and see how you feel. Call me in the morning. Might as well get this
No.
out of the way. I know that it's not what a lot of you wanted. I wouldn't even say it's what I wanted, but here we are. Also a bold move
Oh, not adding a win there. Nice.
to call back to the Phantom Menace.
I do like that. Like, this whole opening crawl is actually really bad. Like, Shea Frillis actually explained it really well, but that is really cool how to call back to Phantom Menace.
But, like, yeah, Palpy's been the Phantom controlling it from 1 through 9. It's a thing.
Yep.
The little-known Elsa saber form, where you just drag the lightsaber through their shoulder. Results may vary.
Okay.
Ha! A little dark side Kylo Ren in one action. I'm gonna say this a few times, but the sound design in this one is always on point. Even something we know the sound of, like electricity and lightning, are made creepy and foreboding.
That's one of those things, yeah, where I'm like, it's not devoid of quality. That's definitely a cool detail with the sound design.
I have this image of his cult followers pumping out a Snoke clone. No, he's not ready. His face is all messed up. We need more time.
There's no time. He's got vaguely menacing stuff to say.
Pathway to many abilities
Some consider to be unnatural. Hey, it's like when he said that in Revenge of the Sith. Yeah, I remember that. That's like one of the few times the sequel trilogy actually calls back to the prequels. One of the few times.
And let's just say, hearing Ian McDiarmid say that line again, a line we all agree comes from arguably the best scene in the prequels. Yeah, yep.
Sure. Bum 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 bum
You hear
bum.
me complain about the Imperial March with a bunch of Star Destroyers rising out of the ice?
Nope.
You won't.
I'm kidding. Take your 250.
Poe and Finn's relationship. Simply the way these two actors interact and talk over each other, it's all endearing.
He's cheating. Definitely.
Fair. Win the war.
Joker for this role, huh?
That was Mark Hamill, I think.
What? Good thing.
Sorry.
It's all endearing.
He's cheating. Definitely.
Sorry, my video was glitching again for a second.
Got the Joker for this role, huh?
What? Good thinking, Chewie.
Taking your friend's advice.
Okay.
It's like a little Rick and Morty dimension hopping, showing off the galaxy. Visually, we're on point.
This whole thing was honestly really stupid. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of the hold-on maneuver, but I can at least somewhat understand it. This is stretching it, though. Light speed skipping. Like, are you really telling me that, like, TIE fighters, like, follow them at exactly the same points? Do they have light speed trackers, too? Like, I thought the whole thing was that light speed trackers only come in that giant ship, but also, like, how do you just... It's like, I suspend my disbelief on a lot of things, but that was definitely stretching it too much.
Starting to think it isn't possible to hear the voices of the Jedi who came before.
Nothing's impossible.
Funny you should say that. There's definitely a moral, ethical gray area here, but listening to Carrie's daughter Billy talk about how she thinks Carrie would have loved to be the focus of this movie, even posthumously, puts my mind at ease.
I mean, I like that too, that they did the best they could to get Leia in here despite Carrie's passing. And, like, using archive footage, I think is a neat idea. I did say, yeah, it is awkward the way the characters interact with her. It's really awkward the way it's done, but I appreciate the effort.
And I have to give them credit for seamlessly weaving extra footage from The Force Awakens into this movie. It's one of those times where outside knowledge can break suspension of disbelief, but they did just about everything they could to combat it and gave Carrie and Leia a decent final chapter.
Yep.
I'm bringing this up just to say that I'm probably going to leave a lot of these inconsistencies alone. Yes, before the novelization and visual dictionary came out, I assumed Rey and Leia fixed Luke/Anakin's lightsaber with some Force magic. You know, the way they do literally everything in Star Wars. Ryan
Right.
specifically left it open-ended.
We have everything we need.
But just writing down after the fact that they healed the Kyber crystal with Force magic doesn't mean a better in-movie explanation shouldn't have been given, or any in-movie explanation. Or that maybe some things should matter and shouldn't be undone.
So
Another day.
I was gonna say, like, what's your point? And then he doesn't add a win. Like, oh, okay. I like this so far. He has not adding win for everything.
Hey, another Lara Croft reference. Setting up our dyad here, Kylo is taking one last look to make sure it really wasn't Vader speaking to him. By the way, the Emperor does a really good Andy Serkis and James Earl Jones impression.
Every voice you have ever
Probably obvious, but these wins are actually for Serkis and Jones since they voiced the lines. Yeah, that's fair. Inside your
And
head.
it throws Rey completely off her game and turns her into a lumberjack, which I approve of.
Ooh.
Mystic Rection.
Mystic correction, I get it.
Oh man, that sounds like a Excuse me, Miss Ray, may I please have this tree removed? Actually, it's even sadder. It's like when you accidentally step on your dog's tail and they're all submissive, like they think they're being punished, and you just can't apologize enough.
The other day I just had that with my dog. Like I accidentally ran over its paw with this chair, but yeah, I felt so. I get that feeling. Yeah, I felt so bad because the squeal she gave. I was like, man, sorry. Let's move on.
So I like the confirmation that since in The Last Jedi, Snoke says he connected them, it means Palpatine actually connected them, and it clearly can't be undone.
Somehow Palpatine returned.
I love that line became a meme because honestly, a lot people say the prequels had stupid lines. That honestly might be the worst quote in the whole saga because of how dumb it sounds. And even the way Oscar Isaac,
Clearly can't be undone.
Even the way Oscar Isaac says that line, you can just tell he's just like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to say this dumb 3-word line, and like, what are we doing here?
Somehow Palpatine returned.
Oof. It's not impossible that some cult members use some Sith magic to raise him, but he's back and it doesn't matter. He's always been just the symbol of evil. His backstory never mattered in the OT, and the PT only fleshed out his rise to power as it pertained to Anakin's fall. More on all that later. Although, Maz, when talking about Rey's lineage, did say this in The Force Awakens.
They're never coming back. There's someone who still could.
I guess you could say that retroactively, sure.
Dark science, cloning, secrets only the Sith knew.
But does he know about second breakfast?
Yeah, he was in Lord of the Rings, yeah.
Mexico. Find the Emperor. No, I don't want to go without your blessing, but I will.
If there was one theme in these movies that seems to carry through every trilogy, it's masters telling their Padawans that they're not ready, and then the Padawans going somewhere or doing something anyway. Continuity.
I need
Sure.
to go alone.
Yeah, along with friends.
Definition win.
Never be afraid of who you are.
Good advice, especially coming from Vader's daughter / Kylo Ren's mom. Also hugging. I'm seeing that exhaust pattern and getting the feeling I need to go back.
Cool.
And yep, that is Leia's blockade runner back with her again.
Oh, cool.
It is.
I personally love that Kylo gets his helmet back, but there is a definite undertone from the Knights of Ren, if you want back in, mask up.
Yeah, that was kind of weird. Like Knights of Ren coming in all of a sudden, like after they were absent the previous two. Also, that was a weird thing. Kylo, like putting his helmet back together. What was that? What was the point of that anyway? Because he only has it for like the first half, and then he fights Rey on the Death Star, and he doesn't have it anymore. Like, what was the point of putting his helmet back together anyway? I never understood that.
So not only are the Knights of Ren evil, they're also space polluters. It makes sense.
Ooh.
And I love that Kylo doesn't try to hide that his helmet was broken.
I mean, that is a cool visual. I'll say that with the red cracks.
He embraces it with bright red welds, which is based on kintsugi, the Japanese art of fixing cracks in pottery with gold lacquer. My take on it is that just because something is fixed doesn't mean it was never broken, so why pretend?
Okay.
Gulls, as in seagulls?
I said seagulls. Stop it now.
I see.
Eesh, brutal.
I sense unease about my appearance, General Hux.
About the mask? No, sir. Well done.
Oh, Hux, you beautiful sycophant.
Like a cult. Conjurers and soothsayers.
Somebody get this guy a copy of New Hope. No Tarkin to save you this time.
Yeah, I
Couple
know.
wife win cuties. And like a
Sure.
lot of things in this movie, they were practical little dudes.
Oh, nice.
Lucky indeed.
I'll miss you, 3P.
No, actually, I think C-3PO is the funniest character in this movie. Just the amount of... I love how much screen time they gave him in this compared to the previous two.
Yo.
I've never seen anything like this.
I felt the same way, at least for this trilogy. It's the first time this galaxy feels lived in again. There are things going on that don't have to do with our heroes. Even Maz Kanata's place in The Force Awakens felt like it was set up just for them that day. And Rey would love to see a huge colorful party coming from her own desolate planet with no friends or family to party with. And again, all the natives are practical people in suits doing the dances. The kids are puppets controlled by 3 puppeteers each.
Nice.
Occurs only once every 42 years.
So you mean the last time it was happening was right around the time Luke saw his sister's R2 recording for Obi-Wan?
Yeah, I know. 42 years before Rise of Skywalker was the first movie. Yeah, that's nice.
Generosity. And then they broke Star Wars. Nah, it's the dyad, and one of them doesn't make it out alive.
I got a bad feeling about this.
No feelings were harmed in the filming of this scene.
He said the line one last time.
Give Leia my love.
You should give it to her yourself.
Ray, it's not like Billy D needs help hitting on anyone. You have launched jetpack trooper mode built right into the Sandmobiles.
Yeah, apparently.
Not now, BB-8!
We've always always been sorta able to tell what R2 and Chewie are saying based on responses, but I feel like you can often almost hear BB-8's actual words. And if you're wondering how BB-8 knew the canisters would be helpful, he noticed them earlier.
Never underestimate a droid!
That's what they say.
Never underestimate a droid.
That was like a really short callback.
Ingenuity and teamwork.
Sure.
Terrific. You're not going to believe how well this is going to turn out. It's going to be great.
Optimism.
I am mechanically incapable of speaking translations from Sith. I believe the rule was passed by the Senate.
3PO gets cut off here, but it 100% makes sense that non-Siths wouldn't want any old scavenger to translate a Sith map and unleash darkness onto the galaxy accidentally.
I mean, I kind of get that, but also I just find it frustrating how it pads the runtime.
Wouldn't be Star Wars without a big monster of some kind. Another new Force ability for the movies, but you probably noticed that Rey's been reading the old texts, and you really think the Jedi didn't have a Force version of Cure 3? Or maybe Rey watched The Mandalorian.
I mean, I'm able to buy that. I just don't like that Force healing is a thing. Or at least not to that extent.
It's a yup for me, dog. I admit it's a weird scene, but
Yeah.
we find out later that Kylo's goal here was again trying to confirm what the Emperor said by pulling the Palpatine power out of her.
It was weird.
First, he assumed she'd do something, I'm sure. And if she didn't, oh well, she wasn't worth the trouble then. Reddit seemed mad that he'd risk it, but every single lightsaber duel is a risk that someone is going to die. Force users take that risk constantly. And I don't want to call the old "it's just a metaphor, bro," but this is also a look at the dark side versus the light side. The Sith will smash through you while the Jedi like to get the high ground.
High
I
ground.
think he really shipped them? I'm sorry, this scene is no more goofy than Obi-Wan's spin move during his duel with Vader. Hey, I never noticed they didn't get coverage of them dueling from this angle. Obi-Wan is just preparing to die before he's prepared to die. Anyway.
Okay, cool.
It is meant to be a showcase of Yoda's little words of wisdom and empire.
Judge me by my size, do you?
A skinny little girl taking out a TIE silencer. Combine it
Sure, but I still find it weird.
with this, and it's simply there to illustrate the divide in her. Dark side, light side, sound design of Force pulls still killing it.
Yeah, it is. Lightning.
Whoops, Yoda was right about the fear, anger, and suffering thing. Also, I guess I was wrong about her being Obi-Wan's descendant.
Yeah, we all were.
Okay, so apparently JJ said he felt that the thing Finn wanted to tell Rey was that he was Force sensitive.
Yep.
So, fine.
Yeah.
But how is it not that Finn knew she was Palpatine's granddaughter? He says this later.
She's not herself. You have no idea what she's fighting. And you do?
I do. And so does Leia.
And we find out even later that
Because you're a Palpatine. Leia knew it too.
so I'm going with that. Just gonna pretend like JJ forgot.
I don't think so.
A complaint that comes up a lot is that there are lots of death fake-outs in this movie, but only 120 seconds have passed, so it wasn't meant to be a trick on the audience of any meaning. Just a quick way for Rey to have some serious, perceived consequences for losing control. If you accidentally shoot your friend and you think they're dead, but then they're not, you're still gonna be more careful next time.
Chewie?
I don't know. I feel like you could still count that as a fake out death because we did spend 2 minutes thinking he was dead. And I do think it would have been cooler if they had waited for that reveal of, oh, he's still alive until he's on the Rey senses him on the Star Destroyer, but oh well.
So the Knights of Ren are actually just more Jango Fett clones? Ha! Rey said he'd do the same.
I just transferred a bit of life. You would have done the same.
Oh.
Just look at his pretty face before you commit to murdering him. Yeah, smart play.
Your friend's old job was running spice.
You know what they say. He who controls the spice will out.
We're a spice runner?
Was that a Dune reference?
You were a stormtrooper?
Were you a spice runner?
Were you a scavenger? We could do this all night.
True, no princesses or farmers this time around. But I'm starting to feel a theme happening here concerning not being defined by your past?
Sure.
Not that you care, but I think you're okay.
I care.
Making new friends. Ha, ADA compliant ramp for droid.
Oh, I never noticed that ramp, actually.
John Williams.
John Williams, yeah. That's a cool cameo.
If anyone's earned a cameo. Apparently there are a crap ton of droid parts from throughout the series, but none seem to be visible in the movie. But they did get Nemesis. Babu Frick is always a win, especially voiced by Moaning Myrtle, who controlled his robotic mouth and eyes with a remote controller.
He's alright.
The odds better than any of us.
Oof, using his own thing against him.
What are you doing there, 3PO?
Taking one last look, sir, at my friend.
That was weird.
Astute observation.
That was weird. Like, 3PO, you barely know them, and they were like jerks to you the whole time because they find you annoying. How are they your friends? Like, it's just, it was weird. Like, I remember seeing that in the trailer and thinking, like, it's not, you try to attempt an emotional moment, but it just falls flat extremely hard. I like, I love 3PO, but he's not really the kind of character that would work for. I don't know.
Babu?
The droid is ready.
No, seriously, Babu is amazing.
Shall we destroy the city, Super?
A little Vader, a little Han.
Yeah. And 3PO red eyes.
Wayfinder is it?
Evil 3PO is not something I knew I wanted, but I'm glad it's seared into my memory now.
Did you forget to write the subtitles there?
Get you on a capital ship.
So, like, yeah, it's an insane thing to give him, but hear me out. The galaxy isn't getting better, so escaping Kijimi probably won't change much for Zori. But helping Poe could lead to change, which we know it does, so it was the right call.
It's okay that we're here.
It's okay that you're here.
It's good.
Honesty.
Welcome, guys. Did she do that to us?
Right? Oh, no, of course. It only works on the weak-minded, which is the smartest distraction / insult ever. Not you, you're too smart.
Of course we came for you, Chewie. Yeah, Ray's here.
Ha! Finn's been studying Shreewook.
No, it's true. We're the only ones on board.
You can understand that thing?
Okay.
Well, everyone has anti-stormtrooper aim these days.
Yep. That was a decently fun sequence.
Did Chewie miss being called scum?
Right.
Sneaky Sith.
I promise.
Yes, I was wrong about Obi-Wan and his British accent being connected to Rey, but Palpatine... Wait, does Palpatine have a British accent?
Some consider to be unnatural.
Yes, so I was still right.
Kind of. This is honestly a pretty cool idea. I remember seeing it in the theater and thinking, that's again, really cool idea, having them fight with lightsabers while in two completely different locations. Maybe the best lightsaber duel in the trilogy. Maybe. I'd have to think. Yeah, probably. It's kind of strange to think there aren't that many duels, because there's only 3 I can think of. Like, with lightsabers versus lightsabers. Like, and they actually touch. Like, Luke and Kylo at the end of episode 8 doesn't really count in my mind, so.
Duel through space. You can tell it was filmed with both backdrops, and it brings you into the craziness they're both experiencing. By the way, Rey is trained now, and Kylo is still basically toying with her. This time he hasn't been gut-shot by a bowcaster.
I'm the spy.
Hugs! After everything Nathan put Caleb through with that robot, he still saves him.
You don't just have power.
Hold on. Hold on.
Saves him.
You don't.
He didn't add a win there. Okay. Okay. And now for the reveal. Oh, she's Palpatine's granddaughter.
You have power. You have his power. You are a Palpatine.
Yeah, whatever. I still think she should have been a Skywalker.
More on this in part 2, but I think a lot of us saw this coming, and I see it as part of a middle-of-the-road answer to 2 questions. Why she badass, and how she nobody?
Well, I said in my other video, I just still don't think that really explains why she's so OP, like, right off the bat, because I'm just like Anakin was OP right off the bat, but he like still needed training, and Rey barely got any training, so it's just, I still don't think it explains it very well.
The other part is Finn having force powers. Being a Jedi is still open to anyone, but to play in this story that's always been about bloodlines, you gotta have one.
And that bloodline has to be a Skywalker. Oh, sorry, I muted it.
Oh, I love that little force brace. Force brace is better.
That was cool, actually.
I know you.
People keep telling me they know me. I'm afraid no one does.
Kylo Ren's theme under there would beg to differ.
That was, yeah, I already talked about this. What was that about?
Okay, so the dagger lining up generally does work, because 3PO does say,
From the southern shore, only this blade tells.
but this is a stretch.
Yes.
Okay, defense of the indefensible. The Death Star was built to exist in space, therefore any elements within an atmosphere, including crashing waves, aren't going to erode the outer shell, and the idea is that it's so massive nothing's going to shift its position. So 30 years later, the dagger might still line up. Too close to call.
And no win added there either. Yeah, I like that. Even if he admits that was a stretch.
Sound design of the hollowed-out giant space station is on point again, and for me, this whole jaunt to the Wayfinder is another tour of Shadow Moses years later. I'm never gonna hate it, and it gets Rey back to her scavenger roots.
It does, yeah. Yeah, I recognize that music immediately. That's the same music that played when Anakin died at the end of Return of the Jedi. It was kind of a cool callback.
Vader's Imperial March only on strings from when Luke took his mask off.
Yep.
The only one who can smell dead Death Star? Wait, is that door open because she's a Palpatine? It was clearly a secret room, after all.
And
right, probably not what you were picturing.
there's the trailer bait. Remember, that was at the end of one of the trailers. It was treated as a big moment. But I feel like 90% of audiences knew that was a vision. And what do you know it was? Wow. Because no one was buying that the trilogy would end with Rey turning to the dark side. No one bought that.
But there's the double-sided saber you all asked for. How about these two getting a final confrontation in the place both of their grandfathers had a final confrontation with their Jedi Master, since they are friends after.
This fight was fine. I mean, the environment is really cool, but the choreography is also just kind of underwhelming, and also the music is weirdly restrictive. I don't know why.
This counts as a final fight in the rain, which is always a win.
Sure.
So, we get superhero landings all the time, but these are Force landings. I'm sure Wade would like these too. He likes good sound design, right? Just that shot of the duel in the background. And even though I enjoyed the over-the-top choreographed fighting in the prequels, I always love the raw emotion of sequel duels. Visually, this is one of my favorite duels, with steam from the rain and splashing waves, the sound of the sabers on metal. And again, it works as the climax of this conflict between Sith and Jedi on top of the wreckage of the Death Star. The stretching of the laser giving way to the Force.
Yeah. Like, some of the visuals are cool.
Also, there is a switch where Kylo actually becomes more composed again and forces Rey to tire herself out, continuing to prove that on a technical level she's no match for him.
Oh,
for an actress that didn't film any new scenes for this movie, Leia still gets an impactful moment. And I love the through line it led us here. Leia tells Han not to give up on their son, which leads to his death. She then tells Luke that she knows he's gone, but Luke says no one's ever really gone. And now here we are for her last act. One that would believably kill her, given that she abandoned her training way before Luke, and his force projection killed him. I can't quantifiably prove it, but it seems commensurate. But just her one word snaps Ben out of being Kylo Ren. And I understand why it would seem not like an act of love because Rey stabbed him, but that wasn't Leia's goal. She couldn't have predicted Rey's actions. She just wanted her son to feel her presence one last time and make sure he didn't kill Rey. She was a weakness for him in The Last Jedi, and before this fight, he confessed that he thought he could never go home.
You can't go back to her now. Like, I can't.
And then, to complete the thread, Rey physically kills Kylo and brings Ben back.
Sure.
Dude, she healed the face wound she gave him in The Force Awakens, too.
Oh, that's cool.
Also, finally giving...
this might be the saddest moment in the whole movie. Just seeing Chewie cry that Leia died. It's like, now he's all alone. Well, Lando's still around, but so many of his friends are gone now. Like, Han, Luke, and Leia. It's just like, man. I feel so bad for him because, I mean, I'm upset that they're all gone too.
Chewie a moment to grieve. He's the last of the old guard. Human, at least. Wait, Chewie's not human.
Hey, kid. Kylo Ren is...
Hey, Han. I still think that should have been Anakin. Like, I don't like the idea of Ben, like, coming back to the light because I feel like that cheapens Vader's redemption if you just have Ben go through the same thing. But even if we're going to do that, I think that should have been Anakin because... it frustrates me that Anakin never plays a part in any of these 3 movies. He's never mentioned by name. The only time Anakin appears is you briefly hear his voice at the very end amongst all those other Jedi. And it's like Anakin should have showed up as a Force ghost, like, because the prequels were about his origin and his fall. The original trilogy was about his comeback. So the sequel trilogy should have had Anakin play some sort of role since Force ghosts exist. And this is, I feel like you could have had Anakin, like, talk to Ben, like convince him to come back. At least that to make him feel still important. But instead, Anakin just isn't in this at all, in this whole trilogy. And it still baffles me why they didn't do that. Did they just not want Hayden Christensen back because they thought people hated him or something? I don't get it.
My son is alive.
I mean, it's cool seeing Harrison back.
And one last time with Han. Pander to me, JJ. Undo even your own plot points.
I know what I have to do, but I don't know if I have the strength to do it.
Yeah, it says the same dialogue from Force Awakens.
I'm kidding. I love this scene. If you've been paying attention, you know that Han obviously isn't a Force ghost. Ben Solo is finally seeing Kylo Ren's final confrontation with his dad from Ben's perspective. Han's last act was to touch his son's face in an act of love and forgiveness. This is Ben finally realizing what all that meant. That Han didn't get tricked into this. He expected it, and it didn't matter. He'd do anything to reach his son, and even after Leia was shaken, she chose the same. It's an unconditional love that parents have for their children, and it's the antithesis of the relationships that Sith masters have with their apprentices. Kylo couldn't see that when he was lost to the dark side. It took death and more sacrifice to bring Ben Solo back. This isn't meant to be as complicated as I've seen people make it. Love is Ben's motivation from here on out. His dad showed him love in The Force Awakens, his mom did here, and now that the blinders have been lifted, he realizes there's only one person left who loves him. Of course he's gonna go help Rey. He always wanted to defeat the Emperor anyway, but that's clearly no longer his motivation. He wants to save Rey, even if it kills him.
Okay.
Thank you, stupid Oscar, Adam. But let's also...
Seriously, Adam Driver deserves one.
To acknowledge that one line from Han lets us know what that dad from Ben really meant.
I know.
And leaving the I love you unsaid actually adds even more weight to the time he said it to Leia. It wasn't cocky, it was understanding, it was connection, something Ben had lost to the dark side.
As I served you in the old wars, I serve you now.
Honestly, I enjoy Pride so much, I actually went back to check if he was in the OT as a young man. He just feels like he belongs in those movies.
I need you in command with me.
But this droid has... Thank you.
Taking the time to be thankful.
General.
Okay, so Yoda blew up the tree with Force lightning, Luke projected himself across the galaxy, and now Luke catches the lightsaber. We know that Ahch-To is an important place for the Force, so it stands to reason. Strong Force location, strong Force ghost powers?
Exactly, because I'm pretty sure that's been confirmed in some of the expanded books anyway, so yeah.
Jedi's weapon deserves more respect.
Yeah, I get it, because you threw it behind you last movie, and now you're like, like telling Rian Johnson, no, that's not how you treat this dang lightsaber that he's had for decades now. Because, yeah, it's really on the nose.
Even though I was hard on Mark Hamill in my Last Jedi video, honestly, I love that he gets this moment. I understand that playing a character and building up who he is in your own mind to have it undone with something you think outside the realm of acceptability for that character, I still don't for the record. It would be hard. I won't begrudge him one last snarky comment. Yoda has always had an outside-the-box approach to all things Force-related, and now Luke does too.
I'm never leaving this place.
I mean, I do like Mark Hamill does get a chance to play Luke the way he wants him to as well.
I'm doing what you did.
I was wrong.
Please don't start on me on how that is a contradiction.
It's
Luke
not.
realized he was wrong at the end of The Last Jedi.
I will not be the last Jedi.
Yeah. I was shocked when some people were all like, doesn't this contradict Last Jedi when he was all mopey? Like, I was surprised people said that. Like, wasn't the whole point of Last Jedi that he realizes he was wrong? Like, I don't like what they did with him in that movie, but even I understand that the whole point of that was that he realizes he was wrong. So, yeah, it was kind of weird to me that people were all like, this contradicts that. No, it doesn't.
Both Luke and Leia's faces were just scenes from Return of the Jedi, and Carrie Fisher's daughter is standing in as her mother's body double, which sort of makes me just go sob for a little bit.
Yeah. And yeah, finally confirming that Leia was a Jedi at some point, or had her own lightsaber. Like, what took you guys so long to finally do that?
There's something more than nostalgic about this scene, probably, especially since we didn't know about it until now. Leia's theme in the foreground, what looks like the middle of a storm, yet they're still calm and collected. It's quick, ethereal, otherworldly, and I'd watch an entire series about Luke training Leia.
I would too. Yoda's theme in the background from when Luke lifted the X-Wing in Empire. Yeah, I noticed that in the theater as well.
I've been keeping my cool here for the most part, but this got me in theaters. Getting to see Luke not try, but doing the very thing he believed was impossible, and the reason he failed, all...
Don't jump all over me about this one yet. I've already written a straightforward but lengthy explanation and conclusion about what's really happening here, but video be long. Okay, cool.
All set to the same Yoda and the Force score, one of my favorites from all of Star Wars. And again...
Powerful light, powerful darkness.
We need to put some hold-on maneuvers.
Come on, that move is 1 in a million.
Okay, that one's a little extra winky at the audience.
It
but
is.
At least the universe is unbroken now.
Y-wings. Kind of.
The visualization of the Emperor's
Y-wings.
temple, as if the structure is suspended off the ground. Ooh, did he liquefy all the Snokes?
Jam the speeders. I can't, sir. They're not using speeders.
Ah, classic Star Wars.
That was dumb. Like, why would you... Like, I don't understand why they can't just shoot the thing that they needed to destroy anyway, instead of landing on top of a Star Destroyer at risk. Like, can't they just, like, tilt the Star Destroyer, have you guys fall off? Like, Yeah, it's dumb.
Misdirection. Wait, are they in space?
No, they're not.
Poe did say the ships couldn't escape Atmo a couple of times.
Stuck in Atmo. Is Atmo reading?
Centering this last battle on the main destroyer with a ground fight and the aerial battle in the background actually makes it less chaotic. I don't know, is it just me or does Ben run like a hero now? Like he's lighter somehow?
Yeah. Well, I just learned the other day, Al, that is actually Ben's last word. Because he doesn't say anything else after that. That is weird. I don't know.
I just like Ben Solo. No look kill, like father like son.
Yeah, cool.
I love this story thread. I like that we've been building towards these two using their connection to work together for 2 movies now, and it's fulfillment of something I couldn't even put into words at first. The idea that the connection between the two of them was more powerful than Snoke, who had no idea what was happening, and now the same of Palpatine. That the dyad is something special that you don't see often, and it's another correction the Force is trying to make to bring balance back to the Force.
It's like, the dyad is kind of a cool idea. I just wish they had established it way before this.
And I freaking love that handoff. Not to mention Ben with a blue saber.
Yeah, that is the most OP power. One of the most OP power ever is being able to teleport things across time and space. Like, I don't know how I feel about that super OP power. Yeah, I noticed that, the shrug, like Han.
He's a good guy. Adam Driver is always a win. I know
He
you're
is.
mad at me because so many hate this movie and probably hate his turn and loved him as Kylo Ren, but Ben Solo, alive now, a showcase of Driver's talent between these two disparate characters. That Han shrug, he is a Solo. That nonchalant, yeah, I'm with her now, sorry guys, this is the thing we do. I'm glad we all seem to agree Adam Driver is amazing.
Yes, we all agree.
Also, yup. And no, sorry, I'm not surprised that the actual Sith/Jedi, whatever he is now, the only Force-powerful warrior using a lightsaber made quick work of his knights, who were just like guys with cool weapons and masks.
Bum, bum, bum,
And
bum.
you must have downgraded your Praetorians because none of these ones have been able to disappear a weapon from their hand. Guess
yeah.
The lattice arm was the trade-off?
Cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
Get out of here with your cold dead heart. This is all Star Wars is. Light versus dark. That's it.
Yeah, but this shot, and then they don't do anything. I think that's the issue I have with this shot. That's a cool shot, but then they don't actually fight Palpatine at all. Like, they don't actually work together to fight Palpatine. Palpatine just kind of zaps their Force energy or whatever, and he just tosses Ben out of the way, and then Rey beats him alone. What? Like, that was so... What? Why? Why would you turn Ben to the light side, set up this idea of him working together with Rey, only for them to not really work together, except the only time they actually work together is passing lightsabers, and that's it? Like, that was such a weird decision.
Worst part about the final order was the Dementors.
Dementors?
Yeah.
That was way too... that's just so overwhelming how many ships there were. I'm just like, this is... you guys, bigger does not equal better.
Resistance, Rebels, Republic, whatever. It's like almost every ship that's ever Star Wars in there.
Nice flying,
Wedge Antilles.
Poor Wedge just does not get a break. Let the man retire. And a Y-Wing does something, too.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not gonna look a gift Babu Frick in the mouth, but you're bringing him into a battle? Yeah, I'll allow it. I'm sure he's Force sensitive. And
okay.
if you're wondering how Zori got off Kijimi without that token, I think there's a little confusion. Obviously, getting onto and off of Kijimi is not hard since the Falcon landed there no problem.
Well, it wasn't the Falcon, it was the Ochi's ship.
Zori says,
I've saved up enough to get out. I'm going to the colonies.
and Poe says,
How? All those hyperlanes are blocked.
nothing was stopping her or anyone from leaving, just from going to the colonies.
Okay. That did nothing.
All right, sound design. I call that
Power!
Be with me. Be with me.
persistence.
Yeah.
Be with me.
From the first moment I heard it in Force Awakens, Rey's theme has been one of my favorites.
It's really
And
good,
Its juxtaposition
yeah.
to the darkness and defeat here makes it stand out in the best possible way.
Bring back the balance, Rey, as I did.
As you did, Anakin. Like, it seems like it was undone immediately. Like, and you're just straight up saying Rey's the chosen one now?
Anakin, Qui-Gon, Yoda, Kanan Jarrus, Ayla Secura, Obi-Wan Mace, all gone.
And Ahsoka. Ahsoka was in there too.
But all telling her to rise. It just works for me.
Every Jedi who ever lived lives in you.
The Force will be with you. Always.
I don't know why. Just that sounds like a cool idea. All these Jedi like talking to her. But when I was watching it, I was just thinking, why don't I feel anything? I think it's just frustrating. This movie does so many things that sounds cool, but then I just don't feel anything. I don't know how they managed that.
Also, yeah. Ooh, love the sound of the saber flying through the air, but not shown.
Cool.
The Jedi.
That was a lot of people have said this, but that felt a lot like I am inevitable. I am Iron Man. Like, they just straight up do that again here. I am all the Sith. I am all the Jedi. Like, guys, you're not Endgame. It's just another thing. How did this come out the same year as Endgame? And it's nowhere near as good as that movie. Like, how did that happen?
See, she's got Bolt 3. Obviously, she has Cure 3.
And how did Palpatine's defeat here feel so anticlimactic? It just did not. How did Palpatine as well, like, if we are suggesting that he apparently saw his defeat and Return of the Jedi coming, how did he not see this coming? That's something else I just never understood.
I haven't taken the plastic off the remake yet. I'm really sad. And if you felt like this was all unlimited power and flew in the face of Luke throwing his saber away, I feel the need to remind you that Luke had Anakin to bank his life on. Rey's only got, well, all the other Jedi Force ghosts. But she doesn't actually attack, she only deflects the Emperor's lightning back at him. Oh, have a little pride.
I get it.
To the rescue again.
Yay.
Kylo Ren's theme still holding Ben down as the score rises in anticipation. I don't actually think this is the answer here, but it is possible Ben could have read the same text that Rey did during his time with Luke. But the Force is less about magic incantations, waving your wand, and correct pronunciations.
Okay.
That's been the theme of this trilogy, at least, which I know upset some people. It didn't bother me because that's always how I've seen it. That's what Yoda lifting the X-Wing out of the swamp was about.
Luminous beings, Zoe. Not this crude matter. You must feel the Force around you, even between the land and the ship.
Rey had heard stories about Jedi mind tricks, so after Kylo opened her up to feeling the Force, she embraced that same feeling and tried it out. Rey...
I still don't like that. Come on, like mind trick. That is just such an OP power. I just don't think you should be able to do that, like, especially without practice.
Healed Ben, so Ben knew it was an ability the Force offered, and he used it knowing full well he'd have to transfer all his life force energy to Rey.
Ew, I remember seeing that. I just remember in the theater, they were close together. I was just like, please don't kiss, please don't kiss, please don't kiss, please don't kiss. And then they do it, and I was just like, that was okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I did mention the slight romantic tension in Last Jedi.
There was some,
I feel that
yeah.
The relationship goes beyond romantic, though. They have like a spiritual connection that probably doesn't have an equivalent for us. Kylo and now Ben has always been drawn to her, and her to him as well. Baby steps.
Yeah, sure.
All was right with the galaxy. Gonna go out on a limb and say that's Han's medal from A New Hope, which would
that'd
have
be nice, yeah.
Chewie if Lucas's whole Wookiees don't like medals retcon is your poison. Based how he's showing it off to 3PO, though.
What about you, kid?
I don't know.
Well, let's find out.
It's his daughter. I know Billy D can't turn off his animal magnetism. It's not his fault.
Yeah, I know, because that was like said in like the Rise of Skywalker visual dictionary. I think that she's actually Lando's daughter. Like, okay.
Triple pugging.
Yeah.
R3 here.
Again, like seeing all the celebration, I'm just sitting here thinking, why does this not feel earned? Because I just remember feeling that in the theater again, because I wanted this movie to be good so bad, but then I walked out thinking, that was the end? That's how the saga ends? Really? Because it just did not feel earned. I haven't even gotten to the last thing yet. Hold on. We're getting ahead of ourselves.
Heroes in front of the Falcon, Chewie, 3PO, and R2 under the wing of Luke's X-Wing. Come on.
Sure. Hold on. What was that text?
Luke's X-Wing.
Maybe it had both blue and red coloring, the psychosis arrows, or the actual eyedropper pull from the brightest spot I could find on each. But being Luke's works the best thematically, so I'm just calling it a gold versus blue dress situation. Okay. Yeah, it's a callback to episode 7. Yeah.
Love Rey's theme with almost a pensive Skywalker theme building up underneath.
Yeah.
Rey
That's kind of a cool idea, going back to here, where it all started.
back to her roots, sliding down a sandhill, back to Star Wars roots.
Yeah. Why did she not have that lightsaber the whole That's a cool lightsaber. Why does she not have that from the beginning of this movie? I don't think she should have rebuilt the lightsaber in between episodes 8 and 9. This should have been the new one. Exactly like how Luke had a new lightsaber in between episodes 5 and 6. Like, how cool would it have been to have seen a gold lightsaber this whole time? Like, I don't get it.
Yep, white gold saber made from her staff, blending her scavenger past with her Jedi future. Also, I know the novelization says it's one-sided, but it also says it's the inverse of Dark Rey's, which was double-sided. And the section of her staff they used is pretty symmetrical. There's no spin knob on the bottom, so... Okay, so also going frame by frame shows a green and then blue lights, potentially crystals, so something cool is going on and I'm not sure what it is.
Rey Skywalker.
And like I said in my last Jedi video, it's not about where you're from or what blood runs through your veins. It's always been more important that you choose who you want to be. I've got a few more thoughts about that for later.
Okay, so that, I know a lot of people were frustrated by that, and meanwhile, I wasn't mad when I saw that. I was just like, that didn't feel earned at all. The idea of Rey taking on a Skywalker name is cool, I guess, but I just didn't feel like she earned it. That's my thing with it.
I know some people were confused why BB-8 wouldn't have stayed with Poe, and I just took this to mean that Rey was gonna come back. I know the movie is over, but maybe this time you three could, I don't know, work together, create some kind of democratic system that can't immediately be taken over by the Sith again. So
right.
It was hopeful for me. Like, Poe was busy hitting on Zori, so BB-8 went on a little jaunt with Rey. And obviously one...
And yeah, that's a nice shot to end the saga on with the sunset, yeah.
More end where we began with our double suns on Tatooine.
Exactly like the prequels ended, but, you know, if it works, it works.
Okay, so you know that this is part 1, and if you're from the future, there's a card up there with part 2 in it. It'll also be in the description, but almost...
We'll just go ahead and get to part 2. Actually, how long is this video now? 46 minutes. Yeah. Let's just go ahead and get to part 2. Okay, let me pull it up. Here it is. All right.
Hi. I wrote a whole 500-word intro type thing like I did for part 1 and completely scrapped it because I realized I was just saying the same things again to people who were never going to hear me. So instead, I'm just going to say this again. Every movie is at least one person's favorite, and I want to try to figure out the reasons why. And I'll add something I've said before to answer the question, did I have fun? Sometimes the only positive thing that comes out of a movie is John Travolta overacting in a Dutch angle. And that might have been enough for you. I'm doing it again.
Okay.
I don't know how to be brief. Stop. Part 2. Start the part 2.
Yeah, fair.
You're gonna hate it.
Fair. I hope I'm not gonna hate it. I at least hope to see reason, okay? Because I don't want to be that angry person, okay? Just I want to see what Lee has to say.
I've been a Star Wars fan for most of my life.
Me
and
too.
It's very clear to me now that we put these movies on a much higher pedestal than we should.
Maybe we do.
Included. I have more runtime invested in this franchise. I don't want to belabor this, but the Force is a deus ex machina. It always has been. It's the definition of plot convenience. It's part of the fun. At the end of Empire, Luke was cooked, so Kasdan and Lucas Force ex machinated him right on out of there. They hadn't even decided they were related yet. Luke's sister, Yoda's There Is Another, was originally planned as a standalone character for Jedi, but because Lucas had it with Star Wars, what was a prop, George? And didn't want to make the next trilogy, so they just made Leia his sister. The original plan was...
I guess I can kind of see that, the Force being a deus ex machina, but also I feel like you gotta be careful with it, like I said in the last movie, but oh well.
Actually, to have the Emperor not show up until 9, so... Yeah, we got there after all.
Kind of,
all
yeah.
That to say, I also have had it with making Star Wars videos. Not because I don't like the movies, but, well, I think you figured it out at this point. But I do want to start with some of the stuff I didn't like. And the main thing I don't like about this trilogy is the same thing most people don't like. Disney.
Yes, I do not like Disney in this case.
Well, it starts with Disney.
Yes.
I've never held my opinions back about studios, and while there are individuals at Disney who care, of course the money printing machine gets final say. That, in and of itself, is enough to turn people off Star Wars, and I don't blame you for that one bit. It's still my opinion that J.J. Abrams cares about Star Wars, and I can't pretend to know what happens when you answer to the mouse.
I have a squeaky wheel.
It's easy to blame J.J. for the amount of fan service, but not sure if you've noticed that's currently Disney's primary market strategy across the board. We often conflate writing fan service with lazy writing. I'm not saying they're mutually exclusive, just that fan service doesn't immediately make something lazy.
I agree with that.
bigger role and little journey in this movie wasn't just fan service, it progressed the story, and honestly having him bumble around as a comic relief was nice.
I agree with that too.
There's also JJ's course correction of Ryan's film. Some things are more easily explained than others. This was cheeky, but it's still the continuation of Luke's arc in Last Jedi.
It actually
also,
is.
JJ fixed Kylo's helmet that Ryan smashed, Luke's
Yeah,
lightsaber,
yeah.
Holdo maneuvers, and obviously Rey's parentage.
Yeah.
Ryan was smart to not close the door. Having a manipulative bad guy deliver the news isn't what I'd call empirical evidence. Whether JJ or Kathleen or whoever had the idea for Palpatine to be Rey's grandpa from the beginning is at minimum debatable.
Who
I very
knows?
seriously doubt it. But also, it's not such a complex idea that it's hard to believe that it didn't get floated in a planning meeting for Force Awakens. There's
Really?
a reason everything is left so vague. If you haven't planned out the trilogy, the internet nerds like me can't predict it. Except they did anyway.
They did, yeah. Man, I'm nostalgic for all the theories that were going around after Force Awakens came out, because yeah, we theorized everything.
Hey, the Emperor is Snoke, actually, was one of the first theories to come out in 2015.
Really?
Disney, I'm talking to you now. We really wish you had planned out this trilogy from the beginning. Before a single actor was cast, just a storyboard outline, a list of key plot points, an overarching theme. Can you do that next time, please?
Yeah, like, you don't have to have had all 3 scripts written, but at least an overarching story to follow, and then have more communication between the directors and actors. Maybe there was. I wasn't there, but from the outside looking in, it did not feel like there was any communication between these people, and it's just frustrating to see how it turned out.
Then stay the course. As much as you think the surprise is the most important thing to us, it isn't.
No.
Empire's twist is great, one of a kind. Do you know how many people have been surprised by that twist in the last 40 years? Not one person who saw Tommy Boy.
Luke, I am your father.
I mean, Lego Star Wars spoiled it for me.
We still watch it, and the internet machine is going to guess your plots. It usually means your story holds up. I've said it in every video, even assumed like a fool after Force Awakens that you must have because it would be and now is a travesty that you didn't.
Yeah.
Also know that writing a script for one movie is hard enough as it is. A New Hope is a perfect example of why planning anything out can be nearly impossible. The original screenplay George Lucas wrote for A New Hope is unrecognizable from the finished product we got.
I've seen
More
that,
people
yeah.
involved and more people to answer to doesn't make that any easier. People get mad when I say
yeah.
this, but Lucas had no clue Luke, Leia, and Vader were related when he wrote A New Hope. Ben calls Anakin Darth.
Only a master of evil, Darth.
I mean, I like seeing that as like Obi-Wan was like jabbing at Vader, as like making fun of him by calling him Darth, but oh well.
We know that movie was made in the edit. That said, just like Lucas's winky,
So what I told you was true, from a certain point of view.
A certain point of view?
JJ deliberately left a lot open-ended so that his story could work in hindsight given various writing paths. JJ tried to tie it together with soft retcons that worked for the story. If there is connective tissue in the trilogy, it's how Rey fits in and what that means to her. And
Yeah,
JJ
sure.
didn't want to wipe the anybody can be a Jedi statement from Last Jedi away, so Finn has Force-sensitive moments.
Feeling.
Okay. But
I just realized I kind of suggested that when I did the last movie, didn't I? I remember suggesting that when I was, man, and then he kind of did it anyway. I suggested that you didn't have to make Rey a nobody. You could have had Finn be the Force sensitive person. I guess they kind of did that in this movie. I didn't even wow, huh? I guess. Looking back when I said that, I forgot about that.
In hindsight, Rey's quick uptake of Force ability makes sense for Palpatine's descendant. Part of being a Jedi is that it takes practice and patience and peace. When someone gets to skip the hard work and knowledge acquisition and gets all the benefits of power, that's how you get a Sheev. Throughout her story, Rey is drawn to the dark side because it's easier and because she's so powerful. The same could be said for Anakin. It's more than just the power going to his head. It's that he was being told he was as powerful as a Yoda, but he wasn't whatever enough to be a Jedi Master. Submit, you most powerful Force user we've ever come across! Rey was probably lucky that her Force power only showed up as an answer to the guy with evil tattooed on his face. Rey's first usage of Force ability was after she instinctively resisted Kylo for the first time. He unlocked her power by trying to probe her mind. Which, think about it like this. If no one had ever pushed you down before, the first time someone pushes you, you're gonna fall over. Then
Sure.
they push again, but this time you know what happens and you know how to stop yourself from falling. Eventually you learn that if you push back, you can even knock them over. For the Dyad, two super Force powerful people, Force ability is presented pretty much like that for them. This concept in and of itself probably upsets a lot of people because Yoda, Luke, and Anakin were all supposed to be the peak of Force ability. So
Yeah.
I'm saying it may not help anything. I'm just telling you how I read it.
I mean, I like what you're saying. It's like it's one of those things where I'm like, I like that. That's what you're saying. I can see what you're saying, but I don't know if I agree with all of it. So that's cool.
Another example is the Han Leia Kylo scene. I'm not at all saying that JJ wrote this scene with this scene in mind.
I don't think so.
For all we know, Harrison Ford improvised this touch. That doesn't mean it's unreasonable to read it as a loving touch. And now with this new scene, we have a new framing for it from Ben's perspective. Han touching his face now makes that one deliberate. It's a deliberate signal that the moment and gesture was important. I even realized after watching my video back a few days later that even I underplayed the importance. With our new framing, Han is instrumental in turning Kylo to the light. That act of love, that moment where Kylo thinks he's won, he's sealed his dark fate, was actually the complete opposite once he remembered it from Ben's perspective. Han said, no, there's nothing you can do that will make me stop loving you. After Rey showed him love he couldn't deny and did not understand, the entire encounter was reframed in his mind. This isn't anything new. Screenwriters and novelists alike will very often hit points in the future of their stories that change the context of the past, even to the point where they'll go back and rewrite stuff. Sometimes the story writes itself. The death of the author is also nothing new and is debated constantly. It's another reason that objectivity can be difficult when discussing art. How much does intent matter? For me, none of it's mutually exclusive. This makes me feel stuff with zero context. This objectively makes sense because it's been established they can pass matter to each other through space.
Yeah, that's true.
Objective judgment on the efficacy of passing matter through space in Star Wars as it pertains to the Force, good luck. In Empire, Vader senses Luke from miles away, but when he's on the Death Star in A New Hope, he's got no clue. Objective writing failure? Well, maybe he was distracted by Obi-Wan's presence. But
I
he
could
tortured
think
his daughter and had no clue she was his daughter.
I mean that's something. Yeah, the fact that he never realized Leia was his daughter.
Retcon reasons in so that it all makes sense, but establishing this Force power later messes up the past. Does that mean A New Hope is now bad, or is Jedi bad because it broke A New Hope? I've already answered that. The lack of planning is and was a problem. I'm just not convinced it's as easy to fix as we'd all like it to be. After that,
I see what you're saying again.
The biggest thing that hurts this movie is pacing.
I mean, I would say it's the other things, a lot of other things, but yeah, the pacing is definitely bad because, again, in the theater, I just remember thinking this movie moves way too fast, and I just had a hard time keeping up with it.
I know that some people would argue that it's writing, and the writing has some problems for sure, but it's the breakneck pacing that makes the actual plotting seem even worse. That can ruin a theater experience. Like I just said, I love the entire scene starting with Rey and Kylo's fight through to Ben throwing Kylo's saber into the ocean. But it all happens in 8 minutes, and that's with other quick scenes being intercut. It took me 3 minutes to explore what was happening in the scene. Obviously, I didn't have all my thoughts fleshed out about that scene before the next scene started. Like I just said earlier, it was still coming into focus more for me after I published part 1. So rushing through so much, so much, and then this happens makes it hard to process. It's easy for me to brush it off in favor of a fun theater experience. I know it's a lot harder for others.
Yeah,
Everyone has those moments.
Like I want to see this as the end of a story, but the way they rush through the plot kind of makes it feel like they're trying to do all these things to make it make sense with the previous movies and then end it. That's just what I feel like it feels like.
It's in theaters when something happens and you just can't get past it. I think people had a few of those in Rise of Skywalker.
Yes.
So then that ruins any emotional impact the movie could have.
Yes.
Something I do in favor of having a good theater experience is make that a problem for future Lee to figure out. Which sounds silly, I know.
Yeah, it does.
To be honest, for a long time as a somewhat cynical high schooler, I could barely sit through any movie without questioning things and ruining my own experience. Just asking simple questions that usually had answers, but because I missed something or didn't know, I let it get under my skin. Yo, Agent Smith, push him in! So at some point, I made a concerted effort to stop doing that, and now my brain immediately goes, oh.
That literally describes Jeremy Scott from CinemaWins, man. He hasn't made a concerted effort to stop doing that. Wow.
But maybe there's more at stake, and the risk of all-out war with the humans wasn't worth it to Elrond. Or maybe we just needed to have a movie. And then I watch it again later to find out that my theory was at least marginally supported or entirely proved.
Side note, I miss IMDb message boards so much. That was the first place I would go after seeing a movie in theaters to see what people thought about the things I thought. Okay.
Proven, or I was wrong, and it's a genuine problem. In Rise of Skywalker, I was hyper aware as the credits rolled that we never came back to what Finn wanted to tell Rey. And after thinking about it and rewatching it, it made sense to me that it was
Trust me, the irony that I was technically wrong about that is not lost on me.
About her bloodline. That doesn't excuse setting that up, coming back to it multiple times, and then dropping it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's either bad writing, which I doubt for this specific instance. JJ is usually pretty competent when it comes to paying something simple like this off. It's an easy way to make it seem like your story is all connected, even if it isn't. For this, I have to assume it was cut because it didn't have the impact they wanted or just didn't matter anymore at the end. And something that happens a lot when making movies is that your setups get intertwined with the vital parts of the plot or story, so you're left with a choice. Cut the setup that has a lackluster payoff and potentially break your entire story by losing something vital to everything making sense, or leave the setup in, your story intact, and just try to Jedi mind trick the audience into forgetting about the setup with fast pacing, fast talking, and fast cameras. But speaking of my theater experience, full disclosure, I went into this movie thinking there was a very good possibility the final twist of the saga, which would have been bold to say the least, was that Ben would be redeemed and Rey would fall to the dark side. I had two theories. First, just was a straight up switcheroo. I knew that was an unlikely way to end the saga, so theory two was that Rey would deliberately embrace the Emperor, knowing that Ben could kill her, him, all the Sith, and restore balance. So like a sacrificial turn to the dark side. And all of this was informed by the insane amount of negativity that I'd heard in the days leading up to seeing it in theaters. That's right, I knew people were pissed, so I assumed Rey had to die and or turn bad. I was prepared for that. So in the end, the more straightforward conclusion was a relief for me. I already said I didn't love bringing the Emperor back, but I pretty quickly shrugged and moved on. It's in the trilogy now, and just like I said for The Last Jedi, kids who watch these movies in 10 years aren't gonna know any different. Just like when kids found out that Luke and Leia were brother and sister when they'd been secretly rooting for them to get together all along. Throughout the next decade, they're gonna find new ways to justify the decision.
I don't know. I still feel like even people who watch this movie 10 years from now, I feel like even they would think that felt like an out of nowhere decision. That's what I think, at least.
What we do, we look for patterns. And with my own hindsight, I don't hate that he's the big bad again. Okay, so I made some mistakes in part 1 that I wanted to correct. They didn't land on Kijimi with the Falcon. They left that on Pavarine, Palomina, Pisana.
Yeah.
It was Ochi's ship.
Yeah.
Also, this
I noted that in part 1.
This is apparently a TIE Whisper, not a TIE Silencer.
Oh,
And
okay.
this is Poe's X-Wing with the blue and orange, obviously, not Luke's. Moral of the story is, I suck at ships. So I was just wrong about all that. Also, these were so dumb I thought it would be obvious I was doing a bit with Chewie. But by far, the most offensive thing I did was leave out Ahsoka from the Force Ghost scene. And you're not wrong.
Thank you! Ahsoka's one of my favorite characters. The fact that you didn't mention her, I was like, come on.
I just got really excited Jennifer Hale's voice was in there, but
Oh,
then I
really?
forgot to mention her by name.
But even voiced by Ashley Eckstein.
But I'm sorry, Ahsoka Tano's voice was also in there. Apparently Luminara Unduli and
I chuckle about the female Jedi caption during recording, but it actually bums me out the more I think about it. They couldn't look up the character names of the actors that came in to read. Not even Ahsoka Tano. Come on, Kanan isn't main canon. He got named. What gives? I decided to do my best to name them. Okay.
Galia's voices were in there too. I just couldn't make them out. It seems like they all just got female Jedi'd in the subtitles.
Weird.
Also, not a correction I saw from the comments, but I came back while reviewing part 1 to read that the Knights of Ren are Force users, to which I say,
are they?
It's like Disney saw what Rowling does with Harry Potter long after it's over and agreed it's what we wanted. Rushing through so fast that you have to fix things later. Slow down next time. Other stuff I learned from the comments, Anakin would be super pissed that Rey buried his lightsaber in coarse and rough sand that gets everywhere.
He would
All the
be.
ship's pilot had to do was spin a little to get the horses off.
I said, oh my gosh, I said that. Wow, I didn't. That's so funny.
But my current favorite, Rey touches a dagger and immediately knows it did bad stuff while holding in her other hand a lightsaber that murdered younglings. Yeah, that's hilarious. Like, you're literally carrying the Youngling Slayer 9000. Maybe she can only sense when it's bad stuff done to her. Who knows? Also, lots of cameos.
Oh, sorry, my. Never mind, sorry. Anyway.
When it's bad stuff done to her. Who knows?
Who knows?
Also, lots of cameos I just didn't fit. Warwick Davis back as Wicket the Ewok. JJ voiced Dio. Writer Chris Terrio played Admiral Akbar's son.
Wait, hold on.
Dio. Writer Chris.
That's Admiral Akbar's son? That's the first I'm hearing of that.
Terrio played Admiral Akbar's son. Kevin Smith even got to walk around Kijimi.
Oh, cool.
Miranda?
Lin-Manuel?
I don't think
what? Oh, wait, what?
Smith even got to walk around Kijimi.
Lin-Manuel Miranda? How did I didn't know he was in there. What?
Well, Miranda? I don't think anyone would argue the amount of love that was put into how this film looked. So much is practical, it sometimes still feels like JJ is responding to the hated sterile settings in the prequel trilogy. And then comedy is always tricky. If you don't like JJ's style, none of it is likely to land.
I knew it!
I didn't laugh at that.
But a lot of it worked for me. John
Well, and most of the laughs I got from watching this were from 3PO, so yeah.
Williams is a mad genius.
He still is,
this video
yeah.
from Red Caillou, hopefully I'm saying that correctly, goes over how the first few notes of Rey's theme are actually the last few notes of Kylo's, which are also the last notes of the second phrase of the Emperor's theme, and the first 3 notes of the Emperor's theme are double-timed in the opening flourish of Rey's. The characters are even tied together through their musical themes.
Interesting.
In the description. Okay. I want to talk about some of the bigger complaints I've seen brought up.
All right.
I do have to be honest, I haven't watched that many of the negative breakdowns of this movie for lots of reasons. A big one is that I'm just tired of thinking about and arguing about Star Wars.
I get
so
that.
I may miss yours.
I understand that, man.
Specific complaint? I know this movie was a huge disappointment for a lot of people. I'm again not here to pretend like it's the most perfectly
well-written, evenly paced, new or creative Star Wars movie.
But it is Star Wars. This is as Star Warsy as a Star War ever did Star's War.
Sure.
So, Palpatine was a clone, which is very comic booky and campy, but still Star Wars. Evil persists because, of course it does. I still don't find Anakin's final sacrifice meaningless.
Oh, I do.
They had peace for 25, 30 years. The Force Awakens midpoint seems to be the First Order's final rise to power with the destruction of the Republic. That ain't bad. It ain't great either. But really, in hindsight, it would have been more offensive that just another random dictator popped up into power. No, it's always been Palpatine. It's still the Emperor. And
I mean, I feel like even if you had Kylo Ren as the bad guy, he's still like the son of Darth Vader, and Vader was trained by the Emperor, so he still could have had it where the Emperor's like influence is still around in the sequel trilogy. Just him as a person isn't back, just his influence. I feel like that would have worked fine enough, but oh well.
And Anakin's sacrifice still mattered if you realize, oh no.
What?
If you realize
what?
That it was more important that Anakin saved what he loved than killed what he hated. Luke was still pivotal to this story, so Anakin saving Luke, even if he didn't fully kill Empey, was crucial. JJ must have known it from the beginning. That's a joke. Let's talk about the Force. I'm sure there's lore and books written about the Force and how it works, but the guy I trust in the matter is Yoda. He made it crystal clear what the Force is and isn't. Based on the movies, what do we think the actual steps to a Jedi mind trick are? A hand wave? It's not cross your fingers and toes, it's feel it out, man. Luke didn't get formal training on that. I have no proof of this, but I'd bet movie Yoda, you heard me. I know he technically did it in canon when he was younger, but old man movie Yoda would never use the Force to trick anyone because it was beneath him. Why am I saying something against the Clone Wars again? And who do we see do the first mind trick? Ben, who was taught by who? That's right, the Grey Jedi himself.
Hey, Grey Jedi's not a thing.
Qui-Gon.
Even though I love Qui-Gon.
Taught Anakin. I just have a hard time picturing Yoda teaching a bunch of younglings how to manipulate a dum-dum into doing what they want with the Force. Please don't take any of that too seriously.
Okay,
but
sure.
It's 100% true.
Maybe. Sure.
I also get that just saying Rey learned Force healing from the Jedi text doesn't really change what it means for the overall series.
Exactly.
Qui-Gon could have used it, and it's one of, if not the main impetus for Anakin's turn to the dark side.
Yes, that's why that's why I don't like Force healing, at least to this extent. Like, cause yeah, Anakin's whole motivation of turning to the dark side was to save Padme, but apparently Force healing was a thing this whole time. So yeah, that's why. It's like now Anakin tells Yoda like, hey Padme, I had visions Padme might die, and Yoda could be like, hey, we have the power to just heal her, you know that? Oh, thanks, Yoda.
The irony there being the theory that Sidious and Vader actually sucked the life out of Padme to heal Vader in a bit of an inverse healing.
Yeah, I remember that theory.
That's just called murder. But along the same lines of
that's just called murder.
Mind trick, I have no doubt the Council didn't have Force heal on the curriculum. They were extremely repressive. Jedi weren't allowed relationships. It's believable. Apparently Lucas said this was Ben using a mild Force heal on Luke.
I mean, I could see that, maybe.
So, I guess he learned the power in exile? I could believe that given that his master died in front of him. Yoda even says he has training for him, and if there was anyone who went to the Jedi library and checked out a book from stuff that's not technically bad, but we're just not sure we should teach every Jedi section, it's Qui-Gon. So maybe he taught Obi-Wan once he was a Force ghost. I mean, he was the first to Force ghost it up. Either way,
sure.
I know that a lot of you won't like this explanation, but also
Dyad.
It's not a particularly interesting explanation, but other than a snake with some scratches, they only heal each other. Even Palpy was surprised when he went to dement them and they were something special.
Yeah, he was.
I don't expect to see Jedi passing objects back and forth through space after this, and I
hope
don't expect
not.
too much force healing to be going on either. Man, this is in the weeds. But also, Vader's grandson finally got to do that thing Palpy promised Anakin was of dark side power, but it actually being a sacrifice is a key part that Palpy left out, but also still ties in with Vader stealing Padme's life, just an inverse, so do with that what you will. One
I like that interpretation, but I also don't like it.
more, since we're already talking about space ghosts, space force, space dad, dad
Force
ghosts,
ghosts.
force ghosts.
Force ghosts.
But I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that everyone is taking this a little too implications on the universe literally and missing the point. Yoda also lifted an X-Wing. I know, he wasn't dead yet, but then he let Luke go fight Vader instead of saying,
"See what I can do, did you? Fight Vader, I will."
That is the worst. That is the worst Yoda. You cannot leave that. Not to mention, he just changes his mind.
This is becoming a video of secondary thoughts. So Ben Yoda telling Luke to face Vader actually plays into the point I'm about to make. It still served the story of Luke's character. Luke needed to become a full-fledged Jedi, and the context of the entire series, that means he needed to think for himself by trying to save his father, even if it killed him and his father in the process. Okay, I'm just realizing too, because the way my video's set up, my face is blocking that text. So you should be glad that I'm reading it aloud for you.
In Jedi, and says that the final test is actually fighting Vader. But my point is that Yoda was alive, had this power, and didn't help anyone with anything except a little training. So Luke, dead, isn't about to show up on Exegol. These are our mentors, our supernatural aides, our wise sages. They're not the ones who are supposed to complete the hero's journey. It's that stupid simple. These movies are meant to be that stupid simple.
I mean, I like that explanation too.
Talked about it a bit in part 1, but the lack of stakes were a problem for a lot of people. You're not wrong.
Yes, it is.
Tension has just never really been that important to me in fantasy movies. One character dies in all of Lord of the Rings. Sorry, spoilers, but everyone else gets fake out deaths, multiple fake out deaths. A few other secondary good guys die, some come back, some are only introduced to die. I've never experienced tension about any main character.
Hey, it's me again, the upper text box. It's funny I chose this scene because Harrison Ford was actually hoping this would be Han's death. Imagine if his last words were, "I know." Baller. yeah, I remember that.
Characters dying throughout any Star Wars movie, not even Admiral Ozzel or Captain Nita. Maybe Rogue One, but what was happening there became clear really quickly. And besides, Obi-Wan wasn't really dead, Yoda wasn't really dead. By the end of the prequels, Qui-Gon invented not being dead. And sure, Order 66, but that was just a bunch of nameless...
Hey, yeah, Ayla Secura, just saying, that's her.
Why don't we just move along?
Yeah, good call.
Important ones were fine, and Mace Windu's death was just a nail in the Anakin becoming Vader coffin. Lost your hand, Luke? Have a robotic one. Lost your Death Star, Palpy? Build another one, fully operational even. Maybe the purists were right. Maybe Star Wars should have ended in 1977. At this point, you might be saying, just because it was bad in the OT or the PT doesn't mean it isn't bad now. I agree. Convenient writing and plotting have been a staple of the series from day one. Things happen because the Force says so. And anytime something seems silly, you can just go, oh, but the Force didn't want Vader to know Leia was his daughter. Well, you see, the Force needed 3PO and R2, who belonged to Luke's twin sister, to land on Luke's home planet, which was also Vader's planet and also Ben's planet, precisely where Leia would need them to end up, even though she had no control over it. And I'm still happy that we have these goofy space movies that never wanted to commit to being sci-fi because Lucas didn't even know what a parsec was, so good luck with technobabble, so instead it's fantasy but in space. I love it. I love them all. They're all dumb, schlocky nonsense with a Deus Ex Machina built into the narrative. And that works for me. It makes it fun. I'm not saying don't challenge the writing. I'm not even saying you should have enjoyed this movie like I did. JJ's style alone is enough to annoy some people. I get that.
Sorry, I was just thinking about what Lee was saying there. It almost sounded like he was calling these just kind of dumb fun movies. I hope that's not what he's saying, because I really don't think they were intended that way. Hey, but I hope that's not what you meant when you said that, Lee.
I'm just telling you why these movies worked for some of us. They were never intended to be anything more than escapist fun. And
kind of.
Analyzing stuff doesn't make it less escapist fun for me. I think that because I don't always talk about certain problems, people think that I'm either ignoring them to make the movie look better or don't have a great defense, which is possible. I've made a lot of videos. I don't remember my reasoning for every win over the last 5 years. But more often than not, if I don't deduct a win, it's a problem and I just don't really care. This goes back to what I was talking about in the Joker video. How important emotion and your overall feeling about a movie or a franchise is in deciding what constitutes a failure of the movie or just, meh, who cares? Fake out deaths constantly? Trope for sure. Meh. Weird kiss in the end that seemed to come out of nowhere? Still a meh, but also weird. Teleporting matter is a universe breaker for sure, but there's no reason to believe anyone outside of the dyad could do it. You know the easiest way to completely break your movie and even your entire franchise? I bet you do. It's used a lot. sometimes very well, sometimes poorly.
What?
But regardless of how it's used, it changes the universe forever. And if you think that it doesn't, you might be lying to yourself. Time travel. It doesn't matter how strict your rules are, death no longer has to matter. If you think that any Avengers are truly gone forever, you underestimate how much Disney likes billions of dollars.
I actually kind of aged really well.
Do I care? Absolutely not. And to be frank, pretending like time travel didn't exist would almost be a slap in the face to Marvel Comics. And comics are proof that you can still tell great stories even when we all know the stakes are at best temporary. But didn't you just say it breaks your movie? Yes, it does, and it doesn't matter to me. Endgame was still awesome. Maybe Primer gets a pass, but I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah, Primer gets a pass. Because of all the fast-paced planet hopping, there was less character development than previous movies. They never really trust each other, but Poe and Finn are more like an old married couple than people who are worried about getting murdered in their sleep. Rose Tico was never my favorite character, so in a vacuum, her lack of screen time wouldn't have bothered me, but knowing that she was harassed, and whether JJ caved to the mob or maybe she just didn't want the same attention again, it stings to see her pushed off to the side. It's a much more extreme example, but it makes me wonder what the real truth behind Jar Jar was. Lucas really planned to make him the ultimate Sith in the third movie, but
I don't think so.
Couldn't after the backlash. I guess we'll never know.
I don't think
but
so.
Then we have Adam Driver and Daisy Ridley. John Boyega is great too, if nothing else, how he hides his British accent, and we already know Oscar Isaac is amazing.
That's true,
Anything
yeah.
making him the Han Solo type of this trilogy was sort of holding him back. He's a funny, likable guy. He's also capable of a lot of depth. But both Daisy and Adam have amazing arcs over this trilogy, and both played their part as sincerely as is possible.
Yeah, the actors definitely do a great job. I will certainly agree with that. I wouldn't say any of the actors did a bad job.
Daisy starts out bubbly, wide-eyed, just a kid living in the shadow of great stories, wondering how she fits in. I'll never forget the first time I saw the excitement in her face about Finn being in the Resistance. In Last Jedi, after Luke tries to destroy his own legacy and crushes her spirit a tad, she's a little jaded and a little more stoic. By this movie, she's more reserved, but at times furious with anger. After all that, she still finds her way back to where Luke started, claiming the heritage she wanted rather than obsessing over what it actually is. Adam Driver's arc isn't as gradual, though Kylo does start off with a lot of the same issues. He's an unsure of himself bad guy, emulating his hero who he fears he'll never live up to. He's clearly a character with inner turmoil, even in the first movie, but almost yearns to be a generic baddie because those are the parts of Vader he idolizes. You can feel him hiding behind his mask. Even Snoke points out that he's torn. He's clearly angry and messed up from killing his father, but still sees Rey's inherent power and wants to team up with her.
He does,
Killing her, the thing that was supposed to seal his fate, made his confusion and self-hatred worse in Last Jedi, and ironically, Snoke/Palpatine's plan to connect him with Rey ultimately backfires. There's an alternate universe here where Rey accepted his request and they benevolently ruled the galaxy like the Odd Couple. No, Ben, we don't need to blow their planet up. Let them unionize.
My name is Kyle.
But instead,
I'd like to see that what if.
Rey rejects him and he goes full kill the world scorned lover, to the point that upon hearing the Emperor is back, he goes to kill him. One thing I found interesting is that the Emperor actually allowed him to achieve Anakin's dream of being supreme ruler, first with Padme and then with Luke, for like a hot minute, and then pulled the rug out, and then a physical death of Kylo of sorts and some love brought Ben back. I know from some of the comments that Rey's new bloodline was a gut punch to some of you, and that my line about this story always being about bloodlines added insult to injury. Maybe this distinction won't matter, but I didn't mean the Star Wars story, I meant the Skywalker versus Palpatine story. I know it still makes this universe feel closed off. The way I see it, bloodlines only matter when it comes to power level. I truly did enjoy the idea from Last Jedi that Rey's parents were nobodies, but I said in my video for that movie that I would be fine if it was undone, and ultimately I expected it to be.
Yeah, I remember that.
I personally see abandoning your evil bloodline as a step beyond having nobodies for parents. So much of Last Jedi was about Rey slipping to the dark side.
Was
Even
it?
though Vader was who he was, a 30-year dark side blip, I think we can argue that the Skywalker bloodline is actually a light side bloodline, saving the galaxy.
I mean, I feel like even if you had Kylo Ren like stay as a Sith Lord and never redeem, I feel like you could have changed that. Like, it's not always light side. I feel like that would have been a nice twist, but oh well.
When you're the descendant of nobodies would be easier than the descendant of the evilest dude to ever evil. I'm sure there's EU stuff about Sheev, but that dude seems to have been born evil, and those would be harder genes to overcome. So when Rey chooses her mentor's bloodline over her genetic one, even though it is another powerful family, it's still the answer to her life without a home. The truth is, she's still just Rey, or Rey from nowhere, because there aren't any non-Force Ghost Skywalkers left. The message is still, choose your place.
Sure.
Allow yourself to be chained to fate, to be ruled by your genes.
All 9 movies will be movies I can go back to and enjoy, and I know that'll be true for lots of people. The good guys win, and even some of the bad guys turn good. Honestly, the 5 minutes of Ben Solo in this movie, given his characterization and the rest of the trilogy, is one of my favorite moments in Star Wars. Redemption is a story I'll always love.
Me too, but I don't think everybody should do it. But man, I'm listening to him saying like all 9 movies are like special, and I'm just like, I wish I felt that way. I really do. I wish I loved the sequel trilogy as much as Lee does and other people do, but I just don't. But I'm glad you guys some of you guys like it, and I just know that I don't.
And these movies are made to make you feel things.
They are,
I
yes.
wish this generation got to like Star Wars in public. I guess it was nerd stuff in the 70s and 80s too, so just full circle. Oh well. You'll have your secret Star Wars love subreddits. They'll have Saltier Than Crate. Although Saltier Than Crate is pretty funny, so it's still worth going there too. Be thankful that you never take any movie so seriously that it even ruins the past for you. And if this movie did ruin the past for you, I'm not saying I'll never do a Star Trek Nemesis video, but I'll admit now that it's filled with completely different characters from TNG, a completely different tone, and pretends like most of TNG didn't happen.
Did it?
But it didn't ruin Star Trek. It's just a fun, dumb...
And you better believe that I've got a defense for the Dune buggy sequence. It's called Patrick Stewart gets to do whatever he wants. Okay. I mean, I'm just hearing this. I've only seen the Star Trek movies, some of Next Generation, so I don't really know that much about it, but okay.
Movie with more Picard chest hair. Is Star Trek the best place to end a Star Wars video? Yeah, I think so. Well,
okay, sure. And I'd like to do Star Trek in the future, but I'm honestly scared to do it just because I'm not really that big of a fan, and I'm scared that I'd get things wrong or that there would be things I miss because I'm not a fan. If you want to, can you guys tell me if it's okay to do Star Trek even though I'm not a fan, or at least not that big of a fan, because I like the movies but I haven't seen all the shows, so just help, guys.
Well, thanks for sticking around for that madness. It was cathartic to get it all out.
Kind of was for me too.
I hope it's clear that my intention wasn't to prove the original trilogy was bad. It was to make it easier for you to laugh when someone starts to try to list off all the concrete reasons for why you shouldn't like the sequel trilogy. Just tell them to watch the OT again and be sure they get why they like Star Wars. And if you still hate the sequel trilogy, also just go watch the OT because it's still there. Or the Mandalorian. Or Clone Wars, I hear.
Or the prequels.
That's good. Seriously, Clone Wars is amazing.
Yes, Clone Wars is awesome.
Blame me, I'm sorry. By the way, I totally lied about next week's video being 10 years old. It's 5 years old. What's time anyway, am I right? Take care. Be nice to each other in the comments.
Yeah, let's be nice. Whew, we finally made it. Oh, that felt long, but I was surprised how fast it flew by. That did not make any sense, but oh well. Whew, we finally made it. Total win score, 202. That is high for a bad movie, but oh well. Award, Moaning Babu. I see. Because, yeah, he said that. It's voiced by the same person who voiced Moaning Myrtle. Yeah. I see. All right. Honestly, I feel a little exhausted. I don't know what else I can say anymore for this outro. So I'm just glad we're done now. Or sad we're done too, but oh well. Still don't like Rise of Skywalker, but I do respect a lot of what Lee says and disagree with some of the things he says, but oh well. And I just want to get this over with too because I'm getting tired right now. So thank you guys for watching. Peace.